I think you already mentioned that you rap about drugs, right?
I rap. Well, drugs is a part of it. I rap about what's going on in my lifestyle at the time. Not only drugs, I put out a gospel album. I rap about being a good father, not being a bum, not waiting for handouts. My is ambition and hustling. And that can be anything I speak about to people about selling drugs. I speak to people about working 3 jobs because most times you can make the same money. You know what I'm saying? Say you got 24 hours in the day, you don't have to spend 8 to get paid. So it's not just drugs.
Is there also games of violence, themes of violence in your rap music?
Absolutely. Whatever you see on the news is always violence, but not in a violent way where never senseless violence. It's like if somebody tries to take you out, take your life. If somebody comes at you aggressively, you got to stand your ground. So that's all the violence you will hear in my music.
Is everything you say in your raps true and accurate?
Yeah, for the most part. By that, I mean it starts on the foundation of truth, and then you build from there, know what I'm saying? But you got to turn it into a song. Most sounds, regular life, is not lyrical and doesn't turn into 3 minutes.
So there's some artistical license.
Yes, absolutely.
Who was Ronald Edgar McFadder?
That's a friend of mine.
How long did you know him?
Since, like, high school.
Did he have any siblings?
Yeah, he does. He has.
What is his nickname?
Banger.
Can you explain to the jury Mr. McFadder's role in your music career?
Banger he was just like a helpful, good person. Whatever I needed, whether it was like or whatever he thought I needed, whether it was working out. Come on, you're not in shape, you're not sounding good on stage, we go work out together. He forced me to work out, whether it be eating healthy, whether it be going into clubs when I am not there and just getting music played. You know what I'm saying? And holding me down when we go into places. He will make sure I am safe.
In that scenario, he would sort of act as security?
Yeah, definitely. Anything that needed to be done, he just, like an assistant, whatever I needed help with to help our team to build, Banger would do that.
Fair to say he wasn't licensed. Hired?
No, absolutely not. We never had hired security at that point.
Did you ever hear of someone by the name of Taxstone?
Yes.
Do you know his real name?
I know it now.
What is it?
Daryl Campbell.
How long have you known him as Taxstone?
I want to say, like I first came to know of him, I don't know, around the time when Twitter started. It was before 2012 and after 2008. I don't really remember. But it was something like, it was a tweet that he did and mentioned me. And it was, then I replied, and then he says something like a lot of people tweet me. I don't really pay attention, but it was something like, that's how rappers end up in wheelchairs. So I took that as a threat. And that's when he really caught my attention.
Do you see him in the courtroom?
Yes.
Can you please identify him?
The gray jacket right there.
Identifying the defendant, Mr. Campbell. So I think you just discussed or you just testified to the jury about how you initially became aware of him. Can you explain the type of things he would do in the early years, like in before 2012 or around 2012?
Just like harass, be what they call a hater. I think they call it a troll now. A troll, a hater, trying to bully, kind of harass, like mentioning more than my fans would and women would. It was like, just became like an obsession.
Was it just about your music?
No, it was personal, professional, stuff like that.
Was this even before you became a more well-known rapper?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was this years before he had a podcast?
Yes.
And?
I don't know when his podcast started, but yeah, I believe so.
Can you explain to the jury how you would see these tweets?
When somebody tweets you, like Facebook, they at your name, you will see it come up. It's called mentions. You will see it, and you will see other people interacting with it. It would be a thread of people interacting.
Would you respond to these tweets?
Occasionally.
And?
Yes.
Had you ever met the defendant in person prior to May 25th, 2016?
Yes.
Can you describe for the jury where the first time you met him was?
First time I met him that I recall was at Brooklyn Bowl. It's like a bowling alley / restaurant in Brooklyn.
Can you describe for the jury what, if anything, happened at that location?
I was in there hanging out with a couple of friends kicking it. I think Hovain was with me, and we had a mutual friend. Me and him had a mutual friend, and he was in the spot. And he asked me, he say, yo, I guess they about to link up, whatever it's called. And he said, yo, I got Taxstone outside. I just want to know, like, can he come in? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, he knew it was a problem because, you know, he had been hating on me, harassing me and stuff. I said, you know what? Let him in. Let's have a talk. And then, you know, he came in there and we spoke and he apologized like a man. And it was supposed to be all good from there. I even sent out a tweet and said, we spoke and it's all good. Since the disrespect happened in private, the apology should happen in public. So that's how we kind of squashed that.
Did there come a time after that meeting that negative tweets began again?
Yeah, absolutely.
And did there come a time you saw the defendant a second time prior to May 25th, 2016?
Yes.
And can you describe for the jury what happened?
Saw him. It was in passing. We were going to a venue downtown Manhattan. I don't remember the name of it. But I was going in and he was coming out with some people that we knew. So, you know, at that time, there wasn't a problem because it was times where he would, you know, start with the constant badgering. And it was times me and Troy Ave got a good song and it would be all cleaned up. So we acknowledged each other. We head nods and we went in and they was coming out.
And was there a third time where you saw the defendant prior to May 25th, 2016?
Yes.
And where and approximately when was that?
Yes. Saw him at a video shoot. I did a favor for this artist, like a collab feature, and I was doing a video and he was there.
And who was the artist?
Artist was Maino and Meek Mill, but Meek Mill wasn't there.
Was the defendant at the video shoot?
Yes, he was there.
And do you recall approximately when this was?
I don't know. Around 2014. Like, it wasn't that meaningful, so like I don't be really remembering, but I know it was cold. And I believe it was like 2014.
And was it before, did there come a time in the fall of 2015 that you released a song that could be considered a diss song towards the defendant?
I think it was, I released that song after I released the album Major Without a Deal. I released the album Lower Level Nut Sex, not like it refers to somebody, for lack of a better term, hanging from your nut sacks when they constantly on your body talking, then you be like you hanging from my nut sacks, your genitals.
So the video shoot, was that before the release of that song?
Yes.
Can you explain, after the video shoot, did there come a time that negative tweets or negative comments by the defendant started happening again?
Yes, constantly. Just like it was so much I can't even like remember. Just like it was so much I try not to pay a lot of attention to it, but when it's like over 100, 150 mentions about you majority negative, you tend to take notice. It's hard to not pay attention to it.
And is that what led you to write Lower Level?
Yes. Like I had to respond. I didn't have to respond, but in hip-hop music, it's like your reputation is everything. So when somebody is tearing you down, everything that you build and work hard for, you got to defend it. And you can either defend it physically or defend it on music. And I chose to defend it on music.
Okay. And
get paid for it at the same time.
And did the tweets continue into 2016 from the defendant?
Yeah. It was tweets and then it was interviews that started. It morphed into interviews and all kind of content just based around me, Troy Ave.
And would it be fair to say that it was mostly negative?
Absolutely.
Did you respond to those tweets?
Yeah, I did. Well, after I dropped the record, I've made tweets. And it's really just to, focus around the record. Other than that, it was whatever, yeah.
Would it be fair to say that you guys that you and the defendant had an online feud?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And it was played out on social media or in rap songs?
Yes.
Did you occasionally have feuds with others within the music industry?
Yeah, I had feuds with other artists, but not to this level.
Let's turn our attentions to May 25th, 2016. Can you tell the jury what Irving Plaza is?